I'll get a t-shirt can. For sure.
So you're probably wondering how we ended up here. And let me tell you, it's not where I wanted to be with this toilet room makeover. I have learned a lot about what not to do and how to fix it when working with wallpaper. But it has been a fun challenge, that's for sure. And let me show you how we went from that to that. This is my bathroom. And here's the toilet room, just a little toilet room, nothing too fancy. As you can see, we got the white marble floors, just basic trim, and it's just a super basic bathroom. Really boring, tall ceilings, nothing exciting going on. So my plan is I'll paint the ceiling here black. This upper portion all the way around will have the wallpaper, and then the lower half around here will be the wainscoting. So we've already switched out our light switches and our outlets for black ones. I have taped up and put some protection down on the floor because I'm going to be painting the trim, the baseboard, and then the back of the door and the inside of the door frame as well. So hopefully this is going to be a much more unique and fun little toilet room. This is just a portion of the wallpaper. It has instructions on it. So as you can see, I've got this trees and it's got green and gold. So I think this is gonna look really cool inside the toilet room. This baseboard painted all the way around. I'm not worried about the wall because it's gonna have the wainscoting on it. I mean, I still wanna do a decent paint job, but I didn't bother with caulking the gap or worry about taping the wall just because it doesn't have to be perfect at the top, because we're gonna putting a wainscoting trim, that wood slat panel over it. So I do have the tile protected because I don't want that to get any paint on it, but the top I'm not to worry about. Inside the toilet room painted, I am going to be putting the paint on our two ceiling items. We've got a supply register and our exhaust fan cover. So I want to get these painted black, and then once these are painted, I will paint the ceiling and then we can put them back on. So while I'm painting the ceiling, these guys can dry and we'll put it back up, and then we'll be done with our painting and can move on to the wallpaper. We have our two ceiling items drying right now, so now I'm gonna start painting the ceiling. The ceiling paint is all dry now, and so today I'm going to attempt, for the first time ever, I'm a little nervous, putting up wallpaper. So I've got my dessert coffee for courage and nutrition. So what I'm doing is I found on Amazon, I'll link it below, this product. It's called Easy Hang Peel and Stick Helper Pre-Pasted Activator. So it basically is a surface prep that'll help the wallpaper adhere. So normally it does not need this according to the manufacturer for the wallpaper, but because we have textured walls, I just want to be extra sure that it's gonna work and stick well. So I got this applicator based on reviews online and some other people who have done wallpapering themselves DIY, and so we'll try that out today. It's basically you like spray it on and it lets you kind of adjust things, and then you smooth it down and it helps it adhere to the wall a little better. Here's the roll, and it comes with the instructions. We'll see how that goes. So wish me luck. So the first step before I can hang anything is I need to get my starting point. They said to start in an inconspicuous corner. So I'm starting, or like by a door or something like that. So I'm starting in this corner by the door. It's the least visible corner of the room. So hopefully I'll get better as I go along around the room. But so I've got our laser level here, and they make a good point, like don't go based on your ceiling line or your floor or your corners, because walls are not level. They're never level, they're never perfect, and ours definitely are not, because when we were framing, we had a tornado come through, and after that everything was out of plumb. You can actually see that video of that footage when the tornado went nearby. It's actually pretty crazy, so check that out on our YouTube channel. I'm afraid to let go because I don't want it to start going down. Right now I'm just trying to get this to like stay in place so that I can get it up and then see about making sure it's in the right spot. So I might just use a little bit of painter's tape just to hold it up so I can kind of position it. I don't know. This is all an experiment, and you guys are getting to see this experiment with me. Worst case scenario, the wallpaper doesn't want to stick at all, and it's a total bust. But hopefully I can figure out a way to make this work. I may have to reassess, but I don't know how to because I have a panel that is partially peeled. But won't stick to the wall.
Yeah.
This is not good. Maybe it'll just magically start sticking to the wall somehow. I'm taking a coffee break so I can think. Because this is not going up nicely. Which I was really hoping would not be the case. So now I gotta figure out how to make this work. Like I said, I've never done this before. This is totally new for me. So it's a bit of trial and error, and I'm just hoping that this first one isn't a total error, because that would be a really sad fail. So let's see if I can figure it out. We're gonna see if maybe this is sticking a little better. Oh, I think it's sticking a little better. Now it's had like a minute to calm down. Like, it's actually staying. I was really worried there that I like got these panels and they weren't gonna work. It was just gonna be a waste of money. Okay, on to panel number 3. It only took me like several hours to do the first 2.
So that my outfit t-shirt can. Your outfits are usually not this time. You're activated, you know?
Yeah.
There's the sounds of distress.
So it's stuck to itself, and I just need to kind of hold it steady so I can get it apart.
Oh no.
Don't laugh at me.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you.
Okay, so lesson. Don't let the peel and stick to itself, or it will be a nightmare to get off and the print will have problems. This is pretty bad. I'm not sure yet how I want to fix this. My goodness, this is so hard. Like, I knew it was going to be a challenge, but it is definitely much harder than I thought it would be. I think some of the seams turned out great. Some of them, like, you can see a little bit of the white edging. You can't tell on the camera. That looks really, really good from far away. But there's a couple places where it didn't turn out the best. So maybe I'll have to like hang some things on the wall, and then that way it's not an issue. I'm not sure yet what I'm gonna do. Each time I think it's gonna be easier, the next one is like just as difficult. But at least we're on panel number 6. officially have wallpaper. It's not perfect. As you can see in a couple places, there's some bubbles. You know, the way the light reflects off of it in places, you can kind of see a few issues of like where the seam didn't quite go right. We got a little bubble there. But I think overall it actually looks really good. So I put up the wallpaper last weekend and hadn't gotten any further, and I just walked into this. Oh, I gotta figure out how to salvage it. We're back again working on this toilet room. It has been a bit of a project. I have definitely had quite a challenge with the wallpaper, and I don't think it's the product itself. I think it's the scenario that I have tried to put this wallpaper in with our scrubbable semi-gloss paint, with a textured wall, all these other factors going in. So I think that's what's causing my issue. So last night walked into the toilet room and an entire corner of the ceiling with the wallpaper was hanging off the wall by like a couple feet. So that was not fun. So I taped it up temporarily just to get through the night. And so this morning I got my dessert coffee, and now I'm ready to tackle trying to fix this wallpaper that I have. So I brought back out my Easy Hang adhesive. It seems to have worked where it applied well, but I think the challenge has been that it doesn't spread and cover the wall as well as I want it to. So as a product, it's great. I think the applicator itself, it needs some help. So I'm gonna try and spray some up where the wallpaper has come away from the wall, and that should help really glue it down. Thankfully, at least it didn't damage anything. Like the wallpaper looks fine. It doesn't seem to have been an issue that it came off. It just has a little bit where you can see a bubble where it's not quite adhering to the wall up high, and then where it came off, it needs a lot of help. So that's what I'm gonna work on this morning, and then once we get the wallpaper sorted out, we are gonna start working on the wood slat panels on the bottom half of the wall. So let's get into it. Up here, oh, I do have one little white spot. No, where when it fell, it must have crinkled the paper enough that like the print created this little white spot. Didn't notice it until just now, but I don't know if you can see this, like this kind of top, like about foot, and then about 2 feet here, it's bubbled and kind of come away from the wall. So it's like, I mean, it's not attached at all up here, besides with the tape. So, and then I've got another spot over here. So I'm gonna figure out if I can get some of this spray down back behind here, and then I'll try and smooth it back up against the wall and let this re-glue the wallpaper to the wall. So I'm gonna take this tape off first. Not that it was really doing a whole lot, because it does not like to stick to the ceiling. But part of the problem is that this has kind of been a weekend project. And so I'll work on it for a day or two on the weekend, and then it'll have to kind of sit for the week until I get some time to get back into it. And that not getting the crown molding up has kind of created this problem where it started to come away from the wall and there's nothing holding the top up, so it's not staying. So I'm gonna see if I can kind of gently get this away from the wall, get this without causing, because this is what it looked like when I came in last night. So I'm gonna start over here and get this side, and then I'll work on the other side so that I can reapply all of this, and hopefully that will solve the problem. So I want to try and get this to spray without getting all over everything. Because like, it says it's supposed to spray, but really it just like sprays like a direct stream. It doesn't really, I'm not a huge fan of the like sprayer part of this, but the product, like glue itself seems to be good. So I'm just gonna get a whole bunch way up at the top too. While I've got this away from the wall. It makes quite a mess, so I got some wipes here. Parenting hack, wipes. Baby wipes are so great to have around for just about everything. So I'm gonna kind of spread it around a little bit too, so that hopefully it kind of really gets everywhere and glues everything, so that we don't keep having this issue. Make sure I have enough while I have this open. Now let's smooth this back up very carefully without trying to ruin the wallpaper. I'll start down here because I really want these bubbles to go away. Oh, that seems to be a much better stick where there's that glue. So if you're like me and you decide to attempt wallpaper because you don't want to take the time and effort to smooth your textured walls, definitely get an applicator that will help give you some extra adhesion. It might make it not renter friendly. Like it's probably, this is not something that you can just take off the wall and not have any like paint issues with the applicator. But if you're trying to get something to stick through the wallpaper and you have textured walls and scrubbable paint like I did, I tried the rubbing alcohol hack. That didn't really work that well. I don't know if it made any difference. Maybe it did. Maybe it would have been worse if I didn't. But this is definitely worth getting the applicator for. This is, I can tell the areas where the applicator that I sprayed on, the adhesive, the easy spray, was, because those seem to be doing a lot better than areas where I'm pretty sure I forgot to spray over here, and that's probably a big factor in why it didn't stay as well. I mean, not that it's perfect, because I know I definitely sprayed some over here, but that half of the room seems to be doing just fine. I don't see any issues over there at the moment. It's at least back up there, so we'll see if the extra glue worked. I mean, I was trying to be very careful to keep the super glue just at the very top where the crown molding is going to cover it, because like if it gets on this print, it does rub it off. So hopefully all of the edges will stay up a little better and look a little better once I get the crown molding in. So that is next on the list, along with the wood slats around the bottom. So why don't we go get prepped for that and we'll start installing this. now on the later stages of the project. We are installing, and by we, I mean my dad, has been installing the wood slat panels. So these wood slat panels are from the Wood Veneer Hub, and they're the same ones that are on the accent wall behind my bed in my room. So if you want to check that out, that's another video. I'll link it here. But so we have a couple challenges with what we're doing here with these panels. So the toilet was really close to the wall, and so we had to kind of finagle things a little bit to get the panel to fit behind. We were able to make it work, which is good. Right now, these panels, not all of them are in, just some of them, but we are working our way around the room and we're laying out the panels so that we can figure out, just because someone may or may not have cut one of the panels wrong. And as you can see, he also has some blood on his forehead, which is not an uncommon occurrence when he's involved in a project. He has a tendency to be a little bit hazardous. So that was one of our running jokes throughout the whole house build project, was how quickly and how often he will come in with blood coming down his face or his hands or wherever. So I'll give you a little bit of an idea of what's going on in here. So behind the door here, we have these panels in, and we're working our way around the room. And then once we've got all the panels in, I'll add my top cap. It's just a little piece of molding that I painted, and will just be a nice cap on top of the wall there. But it is coming along. As you can see here, we have the panels behind the toilet. The one that was cut wrong actually is the open spot right here. So he accidentally cut the hole for the hose that connects to the toilet there, back behind to the left, on the wrong piece of wood, so in the wrong spot on the panel. So he has to recut that one, and so we're laying out our panels to see if we can adjust where that panel can use it maybe elsewhere, and then we can hopefully have enough panels without having that visible mistake showing. So right now these are just laid out on top of the wall. He's marking out the panel that's going to have the light switch cut out up high, and then we have an outlet down at the bottom. So we've almost got all of our panels laid out, and then we will finish screwing them into the wall. That moves super quickly as long as there's nothing to cut. The longest part, honestly, is when we have to cut a hole in the panel. That always takes a little bit of time. So we're working our way back to this corner, and then we'll have all the panels laid out and we can finish screwing them all in. And from there, it will be just the top cap on the wall and the new light fixture. So we are on the home stretch with our bathroom update, which is really exciting. Okay, so we cut one of the panels, and now the hole is in the right spot. Yay! That actually looks really good. Good job, Dad. Okay, so now we gotta get these panels in. We were able to salvage the miscut, which is good. So while my dad is working on the last part of the wood panel, we just have this skinny little about 4-inch area between the door trim and the wall in the corner, right on the inside. So he's working on that. I'm going to start prepping the wood molding that I painted black for the top cap of these wood slats. So I'm going to go measure that up and get that cut so that I can then glue that down. And then our wood panels should be done, and we'll work on figuring out how to hang the new light fixture. So right now we have a 6-inch canless LED light in the ceiling, and I want to bring that light down And so we have to get in that opening and add some support so that we can add a ceiling box to it, because right now it's like a 5¼ inch, I think, hole in the drywall ceiling at the ceiling, and the ceiling box for the light fixture is much smaller. By I think it's about like 3 or 3.5 inches or so in diameter. So we have to have something for that ceiling box to attach to, and then the escutcheon, hopefully, haven't measured it yet, so not totally sure, but the escutcheon on the new light should cover the existing hole. So we will figure that out when we get to it, but we're going to work on the last panel, and then we will get that top cap in and a few touch-up things, get the light in, and then we'll be all done with this new toilet room. After my dad had a nice crawl through the attic, he added in a new box and got it sort of centered, close enough. So now we've got a extra plate around the new escutcheon for the new light. So hopefully this will cover the hole, and we'll see how it goes. The hanging moonlight. And now for the big reveal. So the concept for this room really didn't start out this way. It kind of evolved into what it is now. It started off with, we had this very tall little toilet room with these big blank walls, and it just felt so cavernous and empty, and it was so boring. There was nothing to look at, nothing to entertain yourself while you were sitting in this tiny little room. So I thought, well, what if I attempt wallpaper for the first time? I started looking at wallpaper, and I was really drawn to the more leafy, greenery nature scenes in the options I was looking at. And so I thought, well, why don't I do a more foresty scene with some wood wainscoting on the bottom half, and then I thought, well, what if it's really like you're stepping out into this whole new world when you open the door to this little windowless room, that suddenly it's not like you're walking into a tiny room, you're walking out into the forest, and we're channeling our ancestors to go out into the forest and do our business. And so that's what this kind of turned into, was this concept of channeling our ancestors. And now, instead of needing to go use the restroom, we're gonna go step out into the forest. And it really helped, I think, bring some scale back into the room. I'm really happy with with how it's all come together, and I think that it's brought so much more interest to this room and made it a much more pleasant space to be in. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos as we continue to improve our DIY home build.